All right, we're here with one-time Keith Thurman. Thurman, June 25th, Saturday at the Barclays Center. You're back in the ring, going up against Showtime Shawn Porter. How big is this fight to you?
I mean, this fight is my career on the line. This fight is going to catapult me up or it's going to put me down. You know, we believe, me and my team, that we truly have the potential to be the best welterweight that the world has to offer today. Saturday night is an opportunity to show you guys exactly why. And we look forward to that. You know, we look forward to this fight with Shawn. We know Shawn as a competitor. He always comes and brings it. This is going to be a great fight. There's many fans who are looking forward to this fight. And for those who are just hearing about it and are thinking about tuning in, it is going to be a show worth tuning in to. You have two young, strong, hungry, champion and former champion going toe-to-toe in the prime of their career. CBS, prime time. I mean, there's just no better moment for me and myself in my career than right now. Like I said earlier, for me, Ben Getty always talked about this moment. He always talked about the big platform. And he always said that when you get there, all you need to do is do what you've always been doing, and that's knocking people out. You knock them out, the people are going to fall in love with you. And, that's why we're gunning for the KO victory. I really just want to make Ben Getty proud, and I want to elevate myself to that next level at 147.
Excellent. That's good enough for me, man.
Cool, man.
Andre Berto always says the nicest things about you. He says he's known you since you're a kid. He's not surprised at your success.
Yeah, man.
Not everybody believed in an athlete from day one. He believed in you. At what point, now everybody loves you. Look at all the cameras. But when did this change?
What do you mean?
What time now, everybody call you one time, they expect you to be the best in the world. But did people always believe in you? Always think you would make it?
See, that's where the beauty lies. Before anybody believed, Ben Getty believed. He believed in this little boy, man. Fuck, I'm about to cry, man. He truly believed, man, before anybody. You can ask Chris Getty, his son. They used to talk, and he used to, Ben was always proud, man. He got to take this 7-year-old boy to 7 national titles. We went to many, but we won 7 of them. We tried to make the Olympics. We were striving for the Olympics, I'm truly blessed that I had a mentor like Ben Getty, and anybody with any modality in life. I don't care if you're a musician, if you're a poet, if you're an artist, if you're into construction. I don't care what you do. To have a mentor is just a blessing. Ben Getty sacrificed 13 years of his life because he believed in a child. I mean, I remember when he just wouldn't stop. He wouldn't stop talking about it. He just wouldn't stop talking about it. No matter where we went, this boy was going to be champion of the world. This boy's going to be champion of the world. And then he'd look me in my eyes, and he'd say, he wasn't a bullshitter. And that's one thing he'd tell you too. I'm no bullshitter. He was a Vietnam veteran. He's pulled the trigger. There's no, and he didn't have pride in that either. He was just talking about the realities of the struggles and everything that he's been through in life, and what it truly was like in Vietnam. But he used to say, and look me straight in my eyes and say, you are $1 million fighter, boy. I mean, I didn't know what money really was growing up, and to hear someone constantly point their finger at you and say, you are $1 million fighter. And it's funny that he did it because it reminded me of the draft picture, right? With the guy in the finger, right? Like, we need you, right? You, Uncle Sam, you. We need you. And that belief that he had, that I had everything that it took to be a champion. And then he would go further and say, not just a champion, but a great champion. I could never believe in myself the way that Ben Getty believed at myself at 14 years old. I couldn't see it. But that's what happens when you have old age in life. You have experiences where you see the potential of a growing man. You know, me being the growing man, I don't understand life. But the fact that he believed in me so much, and he told me with that pointing ass finger, you are $1 million fighter. I knew each and every day that was reason enough to show up to the gym. That was a reason enough to run as many laps as he told me to do as many push-ups as he told me to do, to jump as high as he told me to jump, to box for as many rounds as he told me to box. We're boxing 4 rounds today, and then I end up boxing 6. You know what I'm saying? I did whatever the man asked of me because he believed that I'd be where I am today. And I'm truly, truly grateful to Ben Getty. That's why I always wear his names on my trunks each and every time I perform. And I would really love to get a KO victory for him Saturday night.
Do you see parallels between you and Mike Tyson and Customado? Because it seems like you guys had a real, early on in your careers, you had somebody that was really involved in your lives, and you guys, unfortunately lost. So do you see a parallel or comparison there?
I do see a parallel. I've seen many comparisons. The real difference when I reflect on Mike Tyson and Customado and me and Ben Getty's relationship, the real difference is Ben Getty passed away before I became champion. He passed away before I had an opportunity to be on HBO, Showtime, NBC, ESPN, and now CBS. So, you know, when Mike lost Customado and he was at the top, and it was devastating, and it was hard for him to have another mentor to steer him in the right direction at that time of his career. For me, I vividly remember, at Ben Getty's funeral, I said absolutely not one word. Many family members expected me to speak on that day. You know, I was feeling a little awkward, but I was committed, and I knew that I wasn't going to speak. Because for me, and I knew that Ben Getty knew too, you know, there was nothing to be said on that day. There was simply more work to be done. So the fact that Ben Getty passed before our dreams and our goals could be accomplished, I simply just had to suck it up and walk the path without him. But the path is not walked without him because I've learned everything from him. It is he who paved the path for this to happen. That 13 years of labor that he put in, what you guys are witnessing is the fruits of his labor, the fruits of my labor, the fruits of our sacrifices. And I truly believe when he passed that he was an angel and a blessing unto my life, and that there's no way that the Lord would take such a blessing from me if that man did not teach me everything that he needed to for me to be the champion that he wanted me to be. Ben Getty was suffering from Agent Orange due to Vietnam. He was on 1,000 milligrams of morphine daily, okay? Ben Getty was in pain each and every day of his life. I understood that it was his time to go. And I'm truly grateful for everything that he taught me. I'm truly grateful for, it was really funny how me and Ben became a part of Dan Birmingham and St. Pete Boxing. And I'm grateful that God worked it so that I was in a situation to where now I'm surrounded by 2 great trainers. So that when he took away one, he did not leave me hanging. And now it's me and Dan just finishing, you know, just still watering the plant every single day and making sure that we become the champion that Ben Getty wanted me to be.
There are 3 lists that you make that's not always common. You're among the top 5 best personalities in boxing, top 5 hardest hitters in boxing, and top 5 best fighters in boxing. Why is there so few fighters can do all 3? You either have a good personality, you're not the best fighter. You either can hit hard, but you're not the best. Why is that?
You know, I'll just say I guess I'm 1 in a million. You know what I mean? You know, sometimes you come across special fighters. I like to stay humble. I do consider myself a very special fighter, but I'm just me, man. I'm just Keith Thurman. This is what happens in the sport. People rise to the occasion. People rise to the challenge, and they sometimes surprise the world. As Ali said, I'm going to shock the world. And I've always wanted to really make people fall in love with boxing again. I remember being at the MGM Grand, and there was a hostess as I walked through the Skyloft entrance, and she said, "Oh, Mr. Thurman, it's great to see you again. I want to tell you thank you for you got me back into watching boxing. I truly enjoy watching your matches, and just to hear that, that's just a dream come true, because being in the sport, I understand the debate of the sport and the fizzing out of boxing in the public eye of the American people. Obviously boxing is a worldwide sport. If you go all around the world, there's boxing. That's why really boxing never died, in my opinion, is because it's beloved by the whole world. In America, we have sports that are loved by Americans, but not the whole world. So, like I said, man, I'm just grateful. I've worked hard for this, and I want to do my best. I want to do my best. I want to learn from the best, and accomplish my goals, make these dreams come true. Just like this, I really believe, like Martin Luther King, I have a dream, and each and every day of my life, I pursued to make that dream a reality.
We spoke to Sam Watson, and Sam Watson told us that years ago he asked you about fighting Mayweather, and you said not ready. Then a year or two later he asked you about Mayweather, he said, "I'm ready, Sam, make it happen." Now Mayweather might come back. 3 fights that he could have: you, Danny Garcia, or Broner, or McGregor, so 4 fights. What do you think about those 4 fights for Floyd?
There's 2 that almost don't make that much sense. That'd be the McGregor and Adrian Broner. If he did Adrian Broner, it'd be just some little rivalry, little this that. It would sell, but it would feel a little out of place. And the reason why I'd feel a little out of place is because you want Mayweather to fight opponents that deserve to be in the ring with Mayweather, right? And we could say that there was a moment where AB was on the path to that, but with his loss over Shawn Porter recently, I would not say that he's a go-to guy for Mayweather. That's my opinion. I believe Danny Garcia, with his resume at 140 and now being a champion at 147, I do see that as a legitimate fight. But because the bulk of his resume is at 140, I do see that being kind of like, not fighting a true welterweight, which I'm adamant about. I talk about what it means to be a true welterweight, and how Floyd has constantly picked many opponents that were not true welterweights. And then when he does fight welterweights, he fights them when they're not in their prime, But with all that said, he did fight Canelo when Canelo was young and had a terrific performance. So Mayweather deserves all the respect and everything that he's ever gotten throughout his career. He is truly a terrific fighter and is one of the greatest of all times. But, I would love an opportunity. And I said many years ago, I made the statement, I have tons of confidence in fighting Mayweather. And one of the main reasons is he's not going to knock me out. It's impossible. He doesn't knock people out. That's not what he does. What's Mayweather going to do? Win a 12-round decision, And I believe I can put on a better performance than Canelo, a better performance than Cotto, a better performance than Chop Chop Corley. And I liked how Chop Chop Corley was landing hands back in the day. So, I do believe that win, lose, or draw, that was my motto when I talked about Mayweather, that I would be the toughest challenge that he's had to date. And with that one punch, he may get it. He may get it too. He's not, there's a reason why he's a defensive fighter. He's not trying to get hit. We saw what happened when Mosley hit him. boy, he had a tight bear hug on him. You know what I'm saying? And you know, the thing is, and I've said this too, the easiest way to beat the most talented fighters in the world is also the hardest, and that is the KO victory. The KO victory is how you take somebody on that kind of pedestal and bring them back down.
Keith, some people would say that it'd be harder to outbox him than knock him out. Do you agree with that, or do you think it's the other way around?
No, it's equal. It's just as hard. It's hard to outbox him, but because he's outboxing you, it's hard to knock him out. You know, he's so defensive that negates defense. The purpose of a defense is to negate an opponent's offense. So with his defense being some of the best, one of the best defenses in the world, not only do you have to have a terrific offense, but it's not just about an accumulation of punches, because we saw De La Hoya do that. We saw Marcos Maidana do that. We saw Cotto do that. It's not about the accumulation of punches. It's about that one punch. It's something that I do bring to the table. That's why I do believe and have believed and will forever and always believe that I am a threat to Floyd Money Mayweather.
We've seen James Tony Roy Jones Jr. move up 6 weight classes because of that power, because of the skill. Do you see yourself moving up different weight classes, 54, 60, 68, 75?
Not that high, but, you know, I don't see myself ever going above 60 throughout my career. The only issue is I don't have a desire to move out of the welterweight division, because the welterweight division is just such a historical division. I've always wanted to make my mark at 147. So when I feel like my official mark has been made, Keith One-Time Thurman stamped his place in history at the welterweight division, then we'll talk about moving up.
You say you want to fight the best, and Canelo, they just announced that Canelo and Triple G is not going to happen until next year in the fall, so September 2017. A lot of people are a little disheartened by that because, you know, what does that mean?
Well, I mean, you gave me news, and I can care less, man. You know, it's really not, it's not my division, you know. You're crying because you're a fan and you're not getting what you want. You know, that's what this means. Boo-hoo. It's not happening. But it's happening, but it's not happening. It's happening. They just announced it, but it's happening too far out. You know what I mean? And it is weird, you know. Obviously, they might have fights in between. Obviously, injuries could occur, which would postpone it even further. Obviously, that far out, there's no real hard evidence of a contract, you know, so you could still be weary. You know, I always say when it comes to all those announcements, you know what I mean? I want to know, you know, do they have a set? Well, they got a set date, you know. So do they have a set date, or do they just have like a month?
It's changed. Like they had an agreement to fight right after, and now that changed to next year. So it just kind of.
You know, hey man, and this is what I tell everybody. I had a buddy who bought tickets for me and Shawn. He was listening to all the rumors, this, that. He bought a flight ticket to San Antonio in December, thinking that the fight was going to happen in December, okay? I said, look, man, sit back and just wait for more news. Sit back and just wait for more news. So if the fight is, if that's what they're talking about, just sit back and wait for some more news. You know, don't jump to conclusions. Don't yada, yada, yada. You know, just let it present itself, you know. I think Canelo has, well, it's weird. Canelo's been competing at 155, right? The dumbest catchweight in the world. Anyways, it is the dumbest catchweight in the world.
Why do you think it's dumb, Keith?
Because at 154, in almost like any state, for non-title matches, you're allowed to weigh 155. They give you a pound. For non-title matches, they give you a pound. So that's really all he did, was give himself a pound. BS, you know what I mean? Does he still hold a 154 title still? So just the 160 title.
But he gave up the belt just recently.
He just gave up the belt?
Yeah, he was supposed to fight Triple G.
Oh, they were issuing
I'm not
it.
gonna have. He didn't want the WBC to mandate him and force the negotiations because they had like 15 days to negotiate.
Yeah, he can go and you know, he can make his money his way first, and he can still build it up. They still are. He's young enough. He can wait it out a little bit, and him and his team can sit back and create a plan and execute it the way that they want to do, instead of being rushed into something that you don't want to be rushed into. So